Aaron will star in the sci-fi thriller Duel alongside Karen Gillan and Jesse Eisenberg. So if anyone has a question for Aaron, please ask them as we go along, and we'll get your questions answered at the end of the chat. And now, with further ado, here is Aaron.
Oh, you were so sweet.
Hi, Aaron.
What a great introduction. My God, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to do this.
We are too. We're so excited to try some cocktails with you. But first, I feel like you should tell us a little bit about Dos Hombres and how the brand came to be.
I love all those bottles next to you, by the way, Laura. All right. Well, Dos Hombres, I started with my dear friend Bryan Cranston, who I fell in love with on Breaking Bad. And actually, you know what? I want to introduce you to him really quick. He wanted to jump on and say hello and kind of help tell this story. So. Bryan, are you around? You here? There I'm here. You are, you beautiful boy. And here's Bryan. Hey man, good to see you.
Good to see you. How are things?
Good. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers to you all.
So I'm excited for you to come on here and tell everyone about sort of the history and why Dos Hombres got made. Well, you know, from pilot to the finale, Bryan and I shot Breaking Bad out in Albuquerque, New Mexico for seven years. He quickly became one of my best friends and my mentor. I say this all the time, you know, he's the hardest worker in the room, but also the most immature person in the room. But I say that in the most loving, heartfelt way. So when I was, you know, that's true. Come on, you know, that's true. So when we were done shooting, it was hard to say goodbye, but obviously, you know, we were so happy that it happened, but it was also very hard to say goodbye. So a few years after shooting, Bryan and I were having sushi in New York, and we were just sitting at the sushi bar, and Bryan pitched to me, he goes, do you think it's a little too soon to maybe share the screen together, maybe a limited series or a play? And I thought it was a little too early post Breaking Bad. And I said, well, what do you think about going into another sort of business? And he said, what sort of business? And I said, well, what do you think about the booze business? And he laughed at me. And I said, no, I'm being serious. What do you think about, Mezcal? And he laughed at me even harder. He actually thought I was, I think he thought I was joking, right?
Well, I did think you were joking because my history with Mezcal was completely different than yours. When I was in high school, and getting my poor buddies together for a weekly game of poker, we would be able to go out and buy a big, 12-pack of beer and a bottle of booze. And usually the cheapest bottle of booze that we can find was Mezcal.
Yeah.
And we cracked that, we cracked it open and we started tasting it. And it smelled like household cleaner fluid. And it tasted the same. So we ended up just leaving it in the corner. And anytime someone made a mistake or told a bad joke or showed up late or spilled a beer, you got to drink the Mezcal. And there was a little worm in it. And it was just it's awful stuff.
Yeah.
But it got out spots really well. I would put on it, oh, look at that. It's really good. And so I thought he was joking, but then he took me to a Mezcal bar in New York City, only Mezcals. We sat there and we had reposados and anejos and espadines and jovens, and it was just an amazing experience because this was not at all what I remember tasting all those years ago. So I said to him, well, this is very intriguing, but let's make a pact that let's go down to Oaxaca. Let's do it right. And if we find one spirit that we both love, then we'll do it. But if we don't both love it, let's not do it. Let's just enjoy the week and let it go. And he agreed to that. We agreed to that. But the problem is that I have very good taste in spirits and he doesn't. So I don't
Oh,
know.
you're such an asshole. Okay, so look,
I agree with that.
I come from the bourbon, scotch, whiskey world. I don't mind a spirit with a bit of a bite at the end of it, as long as the quality is there. I mean, you can taste if if it's just trash, but the quality is there and a nice little bite. I like Bryan. We joke around, like he likes to be kind of seduced in a way, romanced, and literally everything that he does. I don't mind being slapped around a little bit. I think it's exciting, and so we needed to find something that met in the middle, which I think really helped us at the end of the day. So we went down to Oaxaca. We sampled endless amounts of mezcal all over the beautiful countryside of Oaxaca, and it was at the very tail end of our trip. We stumbled upon San Luis del Rio, this little village 3 hours outside of the center of Oaxaca City, a village of 400 people. We sampled a lot of great mezcals, but it just didn't feel like the right ones for us, and we were asked if we wanted to come see another palenque that wasn't a part of our tour, but it was a bit of a hike. We had to take off our boots, hike through a river, go through this like overgrown path into the middle of what looked like just like a rainforest. And we stumbled upon this operation that, I'm not kidding, it looked like a meth lab in the middle of nowhere. And my heart just burst out of my chest with just such fond memories. Like, oh my God, please let this taste just semi-decent, because I think just the story alone could like push this thing to the top. But so Bryan and I sat down and we sampled it straight from the source, and it was just one of those sort of aha moments. You taste something, you look at each other like, is this it? And we tasted it again, and we just like, holy shit, I think this might be it. We met Gregorio, who is now our maestro of Dos Hombres. He wanted us to sit down with him and his family and break bread and just talk, get to know one another before he decided he wanted to go into business with us.
Yeah, that was actually part of the culture of this beautiful country and many other cultures. And let's face it, with Americans, you don't even have to like each other to do business with each other, but not so in Mexico and not so in many others. And we embraced that. We thought it was beautiful. So we sat down with him. He got to know us and trust us. And we in turn trusted and got to know him really well. He is now one of our partners in ownership of Dos Hombres because he's that important. And it was just beautiful. So the one thing that we were concerned about, or at least I was we found this juice. Okay, we both loved it. It pleased both of our palates. But now what? Were we kidding ourselves? Were we just willing it to happen? We need to take this back, have blind taste tests, and see if we really did find this, get some affirmation to this. So we did. We took it back up to the States. We had 2 different blind taste tests with friends and family. We didn't even know which one was of the 8 samples. And we're taking measurements and tasting and eating bread in between. And we are very fortunate because Dos Hombres, what became Dos Hombres, then rose to the very top. And it was like, okay, we're in, let's go. And it's been a great ride. We've only been in business for a year and a half, and we're crushing it. We're doing exceptionally well, and everybody's responding to it. And whether you drink it neat or in any kind of fruit juice like pineapple or mango, or it's just such a delicious blend.
Yeah, it's a really special spirit, and we feel blessed to have ran into the beautiful people in San Luis del Rio and meet Gregorio and bring his artistry, out into the world. So yeah, so that's sort of the history of how DH got started, and now here we are.
You could talk a little bit about the books, which are really cool and which are numbered and have your signatures on them.
Yeah. You know, Bryan and I wanted to make it, you know, a personal touch for each and every bottle. So, you know, it started obviously with batch 1, and now I think we just finished, I think, batch 20 or 22, something like that. And each bottle is numbered. This one is batch 15, number 1,452, but they're all hand numbered there.
Which is strange because that's my favorite number. It's my lucky number.
And, what's happening here?
Well,
a lot's happening there.
That is a lot. A lot is happening there. Bryan and I, actually, that was in South Beach last year at Sobe. Was it last year? Yeah. Last year at Sobe.
It's time.
And so we had such a great time, and we just decided to kind of put a table and some chairs in a pool and drink some mezcal.
But, you know, you talked about everything. It's not just what goes in the bottle that we take so much concern and care over, but you're right. It's the bottle. It's the feel of the bottle in your hand. It's the label. We wanted something classic and simple and attractive. And I think we achieved that with this. And we also have, for you connoisseurs, we have a Tobola out. And this is really great. This is, you do not want to mix this in anything or dilute it with any. I saved this for special occasions. It's our espadine, each plant takes 6 years to mature, to harvest. The Tobola takes 25 years. So it's difficult to be able to source the Tobola agave plant and be able to make this gorgeous juice from, but we only have a few coming out every quarter. So these are already sold. The first ones came out. 400.
So we have 400 bottles coming out every quarter. First batch sold out within 24 hours, and the second batch will be rolling out next month. So yeah, we're excited to get it out into the world. But yeah.
How often are you guys drinking Dos Hombres, and how often are you drinking it together? Because that's kind of.
Well, pre-COVID, we were together quite a bit, to be honest, and traveling all over, you know, spreading the word on DH and kind of pushing this thing. But I go through phases, you know. I love to have a nightcap every now and then, and I typically drink it neat or maybe on the rocks, and then sometimes I'll make some of these cocktails that we're about to make. But yeah. Look, I know Bryan just wanted to jump on and say hi and, you know, kind of help me tell the story. So I know he's got to go, but hey, Bryan, thank you so much, my friend, for jumping on and saying hello and help tell this story of ours.
Well,
thank you, Bryan.
Thank you all very much. I hope you enjoy the cocktails. Salud.
Can't wait.
Cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Love you, bud.
You too.
But yeah, I typically drink mine neat or on the rocks, but I'm excited to, should we make a cocktail and then kind of dive into more questions, and so we can sip on that while we do that?
What I'd like
do
you
it.
real quickly is I'd like you to explain about the mezcal that you were talking before to educate people, the difference.
Oh yeah, so a lot of people to this day still congratulate me on my tequila, and we actually coined the phrase "it's mezcal" because tequila is not mezcal. Mezcal is made in earthen pits, and so you cut up the agave plants, you throw it into an earthen pit that is filled at the bottom with just, you know, really hot stones, and then it's buried with a bunch of dirt, and it's cooked for 4 solid days. And so it doesn't allow any of the smoke to get released. So all that smoke just gets pumped back into the agave. And so 4 days later, you have a very smoky cooked agave. So that's where the hint of smoke comes from.
Mm. So should we try it neat first, or should we make some cocktails?
I mean, I'm all about trying it neat. Yeah.
Tastes great.
Cheers, everybody. I don't know. I can't see everybody right now who's joined in, but if you have a glass, I'm raising one with you. Thanks for coming in and hearing this story of ours. We're really excited about it. But yeah, just pour a little.
Now I have a question. So like when you're drinking it neat, great. But some drinks you put 1 ice cube in and it opens it up. Is that the same for Dos Hombres?
Absolutely. Yeah. Or you can just do, kind of a drop of water if you want to open it up a little bit. Or if you don't want to dilute it at all, just throw this in the freezer and always have it chilled.
Oh, that's amazing.
Tastes great.
It's smooth, but it has that
Yeah.
slight bite at the end of it, but it's not aggressive. There's a lot of mezcals out there that really are big and bold and aggressive, and I love those as well. But we wanted to find something again that Bryan would absolutely love and I would love. So we needed to meet in the middle. And it's nice. It's a great way to educate people. It's like a great introductory sort of mezcal into the space, so if you just give someone a super smoky, bold mezcal that's not used to that sort of bite, they may never try mezcal again, but this is a nice, subtle introduction.
It's delicious.
Thank you. Now, here's a nice little fun fact. If you take your fingers, put it in the mezcal, and you tap it on your palm, and you rub it around, and you kind of let it dry, let the alcohol sort of dissipate, and then you smell it. You can really smell like the fruits that are in the mezcal. So we have apples, and this is all because of what is planted near all of our agave plants. Because really the only ingredients in our mezcal is smoked agave and mountain spring water. That's it. But
Wow.
because of cross-pollination of apples and hints of bananas and hints of mango, and so that's the smell you're getting.
I definitely smell banana.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's nice though, right?
Yeah, super nice. I want to do that again. So
Or you could just rub it all over your face and have a nice sort of perfume or cologne.
now for the first cocktail, you were telling me before that you
Yes.
don't have a name for it. So
I don't have a name for it, so maybe our friends that have joined us can help, or maybe you can help maybe after you try it. It might sound complicated, but it's super easy. This is coming from a guy that used to only drink Jack and Coke. So I would be, half Jack, half Coke, and that was it. Call it a day. Super easy. I drank that for 6 solid years.
Wow.
Now you got to take your time with your cocktails, be precious about it. It's a much more enjoyable experience if you take your time. It's just like cooking or baking, you can't expect to make a really fine craft cocktail in 2.5 seconds. So just take your time, be chill about it, and you're good to go.
Was this one trial by error?
This one, I kind of know how to mix things. I've been doing this for some time now, so I know what sort of mixes you need. So if you have, if you're mixing it with a fresh fruit juice, that being the base with the spirit, you're gonna want to go either 3/4 ounce or an ounce. With the lime juice, you're gonna want to go about 3/4 ounce. So it's pretty simple, to be honest. And then a little simple syrup to sweeten it up a little bit. So this first cocktail we're gonna make, you take a lowball glass, any lowball glass you have, and then we're gonna cut into a lime. Maybe just cut off the top of a lime. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna rub that top of the lime on the top of your glass. And then I pre-made this rim. It's all it is 1 part Old Bay, 1 part sugar, and 1 part flaky sea salt. I used Maldon. That's my favorite salt. You don't have to use Old Bay. I think you may not have Old Bay. You don't have to use it, but it just kind of gives a nice different flavor to your drink. And then you just dump it into this concoction. It makes a little rim. So you want to do that at the beginning. Let that set. So set that aside. Let that kind of harden on the rim, and then you're gonna want to grab your cocktail shaker. And what you're gonna want to do with this cocktail, just grab 6 basil leaves or so per drink. So this is about 6. So if you're making a couple drinks, throw 12 in there. And then if you wanted a little spicy, I like spicy. I would throw in just one slice of a jalapeno, and you might want to test your jalapenos beforehand, because sometimes jalapenos are really, really hot. Sometimes they're not so much. So, and then to muddle this up, I've already pre-squeezed this. This is 1 ounce of grapefruit juice. So just throw that in there and muddle this all together before we throw in the Dos Hombres and the lime. There you go. And any bartender or mixologist, whatever you like to call yourself, should have one of these. This is a jigger. So this just measures out, all of your ingredients. And so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, this side is 1 ounce. This is 1.5. So you're going to want to do 2 ounces of Dos Hombres. 1, 2. If you want to do a little stronger, go for it. And then the rule of thumb with the lime, usually 1 lime equals about 1 ounce of fresh juice. So pretty simple. I just cut it in half and then just squeeze it in there. How you guys doing?
Great.
Doing good? Okay, that's half. And there's the other half. I'm really excited for you guys to try this. And then with a little simple syrup, we're going to do 1/4 ounce simple syrup. Then you're just going to want to throw some ice in here. And throw some ice in your glass as well. Okay, that's pretty much it. Then you shake it. Nice. I have to stand up.
You have a system. Do a little like shaking dance.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm doing. This
Yeah.
is my dance. This is my dance. You shake it up. You're shaking it until it's really, really, really cold. And that's the cocktail. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour it in here. There we go. And then if you really want to get fancy with it, well, you grab another basil leaf and you put it in your hand. And what you're going to do, you're going to smack it. And while you do that, it brings up the oils to the surface of the basil leaf. So when you take a sip, you really smell that aroma from the basil. So you slap it and then you just place it on top. And then that's that.
I've never heard
Easy.
that before. That's so cool.
Yeah. So
Cheers.
yes, cheers. Smell that.
Very good.
Mm.
It's good, right? It's nice.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I wish you guys had some of the Old Bay. So next time you try to make this at home, I would pick up some of this. I mean, it's really made for, to season your, I mean, this has crabs, shrimp, and chicken on the front. It doesn't have anything resembling a cocktail, but it's nice to mix it up.
So with that, it makes it a little bit spicy and smoky
Yeah,
and savory.
it's kind of this like savory, sweet, spicy, salty concoction, but it's nice.
It's delicious. These are dangerous.
They are. It is dangerous. It is dangerous, but in a beautiful, beautiful way. And then we'll dive into another cocktail in a little bit. That's much easier to make. You don't need a cocktail shaker. You just need a jigger, and eventually you won't need a jigger. You can just eyeball everything. But yeah.
Well, I guess while we're waiting to make the second cocktail, maybe you can talk to us a little bit about what you've been up to for the past year and what you've got coming up.
Oh my God. Wow. What a year, right? What a year this has been for all of us. My God. Sending you all my love. I know this pandemic has hit us all in a big way. I'm a guy who loves to travel, who loves to be around people, who loves to host, who loves to be hosted. I love to socialize and raise a glass and drink, and this year kind of pump the brakes on all of that. So I'm feeling it with all of you. I'm drinking a lot more at home, so there's that. It's okay. This past year, I've the silver lining for me, my daughter just turned 3, just the week and a half ago, and to be able to spend so much quality time with her has been such a blessing. Not really working, doing some stuff at home, doing most of my work is just for DH. I mean, I work on this every single day with Bryan and the team, and so it's a lot of work. But I did a little indie film. First time I traveled during all of this madness. First time I got on a plane was actually from LA to Finland. So I went out to Finland and shot a movie with my buddy Riley Stearns, who's just such an incredible writer / director. And so he asked me to come on board of this film Duel, which I'm excited for you to see. It's a wild, trippy sci-fi drama that has a lot of humor involved in it. But yeah, then I'm just hanging out in LA. I'm getting some baby chickens for my baby girl. We're getting 6 little chicks next month. We just built a chicken coop in the back, and we're shopping around for some pygmy goats, slowly turning this place into a farm. It's funny, like when this pandemic, well, this isn't funny, but it's interesting. When this pandemic hit, so many people became master chefs and master bakers. I have so many friends that just send me over loaves of bread that they've baked fresh from their house. I'm like, I didn't even know they could cook pasta. You know what I mean? It's amazing. I mean, my wife has already been such a great chef, but she's like a master chef now. And so I felt like I needed to help out in the kitchen. And so I started baking a lot and making a lot of cocktails. So it's been fun, but yeah, a lot of friends, a handful of friends actually got some chickens, got some chicken coops, bringing it back, old school. It's great.
What have you been baking?
Oh my God. I started baking like birthday cakes. I baked a cake for, my wife's Nana. I wish I had pictures. My wife's the one that takes the photos of my baked goods. But yeah, just mainly cakes. I cooked, or I baked my brother-in-law an ice cream cake. That's his favorite sort of cake. So I had to figure out how to make ice cream and do that. Pies, just all the stuff that you would think would come from a baker.
Ambitious, the ice cream cake. Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I like ice cream. It's actually a lot easier than you would think to make ice cream. It's nice.
Well, what have you been appreciating most during this time period? Is it having your daughter at home? And
Yeah, it's just seeing her experience life, watching her experience life through her eyes. You can't help but experience it yourself, re-experiencing it for the first time. It's just so amazing. I mean, she was playing with the almost dead fly for a good 30 minutes in the backyard earlier today with me, and she was just so amazed by it. It was her best friend for 30 minutes, and it was just so sweet. She didn't know it was about to die, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just sleepy, but yeah, it's really sweet. So I'm excited to see how she is with these little baby chicks.
Well, before all of this happened, the last time we spoke, you told me that the greatest luxury in life to you was spending time with your family and traveling. So is that still true? And how have you been combating the not traveling?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely still true. We're using our car a lot more. I'm from Idaho, and we have a cabin out there in the mountains of Idaho, and so usually we would fly out there, and we had a used car out there that we would just use when we landed. But we sold that car, and now we just drive. Drive to drive. It's a 15-hour drive. It's nice. We love being on the road. It's important, I think, to travel and see what's outside of your bubble, per se. So yeah, it's still very important. I cannot wait to be able to get on a flight and just travel, go across this big giant pond of ours and experience other cultures and different foods and experience other people, and yeah, so we'll see. 100%. I see a light at the end of the tunnel. Thank God.
Thank God. I hope so. I really hope so. But there are a lot of people that are asking a lot of questions. So I feel like we need to have our second cocktail because.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is very easy. So this is my take on an old fashioned, like I said before, I come from the bourbon Scotch whiskey world. This is very simple. So you just take some ice, preferably, in a low ball glass. You do 2 ounces of mezcal. You do 4 dashes of aromatic bitters. If you have orange bitters, that works as well. And sometimes I'll go over to orange bitters, but I'm going with aromatic tonight. So I would say 4 dashes, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're gonna want to just a little hint of simple syrup, not much. You don't need much. And then if you can find it, you can get Luxardo cherries. These are the ones to go for. This has this dark, deep red syrup. I recommend putting a little of that syrup in the cocktail, and then put a one of these cherries inside. Super simple. You twirl it around for a good 10 seconds, get it cold. You don't shake this one, you just stir it. And that is it. I mean, then it's done. Super easy. Way less complicated than the other one. But if you want to get real fancy with it, my wife actually got me this. So this is a cocktail smoker, which is really, it's really great. So you can get it online. Some are super reasonable, cheap. Some are far too expensive. You don't need that. This is right in the middle. So what you do here, let me put this hose in here. All right. So what you do, you grab some wood. This is a little smoked apple wood, and you just throw it into this smoking gun. I'll show you what this looks like. This thing right here.
Oh, wow.
And then you just turn it on and you smoke it. Okay, 1 second. This is me just trying to be fancy because, you know, I know what this magazine is all about. It's very classy, beautiful, well curated. So yeah, and then you just let this sit and kind of just let that smoke for a while, and then that's it. But usually I would let this sit for like five minutes, but you kind of get the idea. And then it's like a nice little presentation.
That's awesome presentation. I want one of those immediately.
You have to look. I didn't even know about these. We had a smoked cocktail while traveling, and I was just so impressed with them like bringing this whole operation out. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And my wife just remembered how in love I was with it. And so she surprised me one day, and you can see the smoke still there. And it's just so nice. It really just lingers in here. But yeah, that's the Oaxacan old fashioned.
That's nice too. It's totally different from the other one.
Yeah, two totally different cocktails, but yeah, that's that.
And we still need to think of a name for your first one.
I know.
Seth, any ideas?
Any suggestions? Please throw it our way. Anybody
in the audience, if you've got any ideas, share them. Aaron is open, right?
Yes, I'm very open. We haven't. I don't think we've put this out on our website yet. So, I mean, you know the ingredients. I don't know if you're all trying this. I don't know if you got the ingredients ahead of time, but you should make it and think of a name.
So Aaron, is there anything else you want to share before I turn this over to Seth and he's going to get some audience questions going?
Oh man, you know, stay safe, stay sane. This thing is almost over. Yeah, love your loved ones and yeah, be kind. That's all I got to say. I don't know. And also drink mezcal.
Also drink those hombres.
Yeah, and if you're gonna drink mezcal, you might as well drink those hombres. So yeah, just be good to each other.
Well said. So
Yeah.
Seth, any audience questions there?
Yeah, we have a lot of, but before we do that, Aaron, I just wanted to thank you with your cover. It was one of our favorite covers. And
thank you, man. Look, I'll tell you, and I'll tell everyone listening, I still to this day, I've been doing this for close to 25 years. I'm very comfortable in front of like a movie camera, like a film camera. Mm-hmm. But when I have to take photos and kind of do this for publicity, I get really kind of uncomfortable. But I got to tell you, everyone at your team really made me feel so good. I've been at this for so long. So thank you so much. I mean, you all know what you're doing and really appreciate it. So thank you for making me feel very, very, very welcome.
Well, I appreciate that. And I wish we could be drinking in person together, as we said before, but with COVID, it's great to be able to drink with you. Before we do in the questions, I think it's kind of cool how before we were talking, because we're in the Aston Martin Residences, a new building in Miami. I'm actually in their kitchen, in their sales center, and you're a big muscle car type of guy. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, I grew up just loving cars. My uncle had a 67 Mustang that anytime I went over to my uncle and aunt's spot, he would let me play around inside of his car. And one time he surprised me with a model of a 1965 Shelby Cobra, blue with the white racing stripe down the center of it. That quickly became my my favorite car, and I always wanted one growing up. And then when I got out into the real world, I saw how much those cars cost, and they're they can reach about $1 million, and I was like, oh well, I'll never be able to afford that. But I ended up buying a replica, and it's fantastic. I love it. So yeah, I got a Shelby, a 65 Shelby replica, and I got a 69 Torino, which is I gotta say, which is my baby.
Great cars. So where, because I have a couple of questions on where it's sold. Why don't you tell us like where it's sold, and if you're interested in buying where, how you could get it?
Yeah. First major place we got into was Bevmo. That's the biggest liquor chain in California. This was me cold calling them for 2 solid weeks, every single day, trying to get someone on the phone. This was before we were with Southern, who is our distributor now. But yeah, we're at Bevmo, we're at ABC, we're at Total Wine, kind of all over the place, in a lot of mom and pop liquor shops. Major territories, across the nation. We're just breaking into Mexico next month, finally, thank God. We wanted to launch there as well, but there was just a lot of red tape that we had to go through. But finally, we're going to be out there. We're out in Spain and the UK. Selfridges out in the UK, kind of just all over the place.
Somebody asked, when is it coming to Ireland along with Brazil and Japan?
Yeah, we are not in any of those places yet, but we are absolutely pounding the pavement to get there. So hopefully, I think within this next calendar year, we will be able to break into a lot of new territories. And what everyone needs to know, this was all self-funded by Bryan and I. We didn't have another operation come to us and ask us if we wanted to start something. We dove into our own pockets and started this from the ground up. So it's just Bryan, myself, our buddy Michael, who has become our CEO, JB, our vice president of sales. Then we have someone repping New York and Southern California, and slowly adding people to the team. But that's why we haven't been able to make a huge splash, all over the world at once, just because we don't have other people involved.
Here's another good question. Tell us one of your favorite memories of drinking mezcal with Bryan.
Honestly, two standout moments are the night in New York, where I really had to educate him on mezcal. And this was about 4 years ago now. And I had been drinking mezcal for a good couple of years. Again, I come from the Scotch bourbon world, and I just fell in love with mezcal, and I saw such a growth in, New York, LA, Florida. Started seeing it kind of pop up in Europe a little bit, but I saw so much more room to grow. So that night when I was sort of re-educating him on mezcal, a lot of people think, oh, it's the thing with the dead thing floating inside of the thing, right? Let me, I want to try to educate people on it. And so now, because back in the day, we didn't really have other options other than kind of the low end grade mezcal. Now people are introduced to really high quality mezcal. That and the aha moment in San Luis del Rio, where it's just him and I in the middle of the forest, with a couple donkeys around us. That's actually why our label has donkeys on it. This is the artisanal way of making mezcal. There's no modern machinery being used to make this mezcal. It's old school, old world way to make it. And so these donkeys are pulling around a giant stone wheel, mashing up the cooked agave. And so, yeah, I think those are definitely the two favorite moments for sure.
Another question is, because Bryan showed it off, how do you get the Tobala? Is there a way?
What's that?
How
do you get it? So
yeah.
you gotta, that's the thing, we were lucky enough, a lot of people, people like you, everyone that's, tuned in, they're excited to try it, give it a shot. You just have to wait for it to be announced when we launch it. I'm telling you right now, we'll launch another batch this coming month. So look out for it on our social, channels, or on our website, which is doshombres.com. And then, like Bevmo and ABC and Total Wine, they all will get a certain amount of those bottles. So check in with your local liquor stores and some of the bigger chains, and just ask them when they're gonna get them in. And some places are doing a waiting list. Some people aren't, but so yeah, maybe you can get on a waiting list at your local store.
And then another question from London is, hey, Aaron, I love DH and had it bought for me and my sis for my 30th. Do you have plans to create more flavors or variations? Tony Stephanie from London.
Love it. Hey, Tony. Pleasure, my friend. Happy late birthday, belated. We actually we're coming up with different ideas on how to bring this out to the world. We're excited about the Espadine and then our Tobola, and we're trying different variations of mixes as well. But yeah, we're not really sure. But we definitely do have some plans on bringing some new stuff to the market. So excited to share that with you when we're able to.
I love your entrepreneur spirit. How you were saying that when you start out, you were cold calling Bevmo. Tell us a little about that, because I think that's a great success story for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do it. We, especially, at the beginning, we didn't have a distributor. So they're the ones that are helping sort of knock on the doors. So we didn't have that. I became a door-to-door salesman. I really was. I was wearing my like Dos Hombres hat or, baseball cap, going into liquor stores with bottle in hand and asking if they would like to sample my product. Sometimes people, were excited for me to come in and they're like, yeah, I would love to sample it. And sometimes people would be like, who are you? Get out of here. And, we have enough mezcal on our shelves. And I respect that. So, you just got to keep going in those doors. The people that keep closing those doors, you got to convince them to open them back up. But it was exciting. Bevmo was a big deal. And now, a year and a half later, we're the #1 mezcal in all of Bevmo across California, which is a huge sort of feather in our cap, because of, especially where we started.
Here's a cool question. It's from, I heard about Dos Hombres pretty early on and have a bottle from batch 1, bottles 0376. Is a spirit
Nice.
That will get, that's batch 1. And
Yeah.
they ask, is the spirit going to get better with age, or should they enjoy it immediately? What do you recommend?
I mean, I highly recommend enjoying it when you get it. I mean, batch 1 is kind of special. So, I still have, I only have a few bottles left of batch 1. I wish I had more. And what's so unique about mezcal, it's not like massively produced. These are all small batches. So you're going to get a slight variation, very slight variation from each batch. So each batch is going to taste slightly different, which is great, but it's not going to, it's not going to age like a whiskey would or a bourbon would in a barrel, or a wine would, so yeah, I say open that up and enjoy it, or buy a new bottle from like batch 22 and just pound that thing.
I like that. What's your favorite TV shows on TV right now? With COVID, are you watching TV, or what are some of your shows you watch?
Yeah, man. What am I watching? We just Queen's Gambit, I think was incredible. So if anyone was thinking about watching that, I highly recommend it. I'm rewatching Dinosaurs with my daughter right now. She's in love with it. I don't know if you remember that show. Jim Henson did it in the 90s. I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but rewatching that. I'm trying to watch all of the Oscar contenders. Just watched Sound of Metal the other night. It was incredible. I don't know. What shows are you watching?
Actually, like I told Bryan, I watched all of his shows.
Oh yeah. Your Honor, which is a beautiful high intensity show. I mean, the anxiety on that show is just.
That's what I was telling him. I was like, it gave me so much anxiety, like, it's too much stress.
Yeah. Not the mama. Yeah. I just saw, exactly. I just saw someone's text out, not the mama. That's a line from the show. So funny.
Have you watched Bridgerton?
I have not. Is it good?
Has your wife?
No, maybe. No, I don't think so. Yeah. It's hard, with our baby girl. It's kind of, you should see our feed. It's pretty funny. It's all Disney Plus, watching the same cartoon over and over again. You know what I mean? We're trying to educate her in like all of our favorite old school cartoons, but I don't know if she's old enough. These Disney movies are really hardcore. I mean, I don't know if I will ever be able to show her Bambi. I mean, I remember, when Bambi's mother gets smoked by the hunter, you're just like, oh my God, this is wrong, but she loves Up. She loves Up.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron, I'd like to give you a toast for success, because what I really enjoy is your entrepreneurial spirit, but telling the story. A lot of times celebrities put their name on a brand and they're not so involved. So it's great to hear how much passion that you and Bryan have in the brand, and it tastes great.
Thank you, my friend. I really, really appreciate it. And we could not be more proud of it. Thank you so much for having us, having me on, having Bryan on to, raise a glass with you guys. I know we wanted to do this in person, but hopefully we can do this down the road very soon.
We would love that.
Yeah.
Cheers to you.
Cheers, Bryan.
Cheers.
And your success. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you. Hey, and everyone tuning in, thank you so much for your time, your love, your passion. Really appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you so much. Lots of love to you and yours. I'm going to pound this now.
Perfect.
Seth, we should do that right there too.
Yeah. Cheers, everyone. Lots of love. Be well. Love you, love you, love you. I'm seeing a lot of people from Argentina. My God. Anytime I meet someone from Argentina,
Iceland?
it's just Iceland's one of my favorite places in the world. And there's people from all over Canada. Love Canada.
Oh, wow.
Look at all these people. Mexico. Oh my God. Venezuela. I love you all. Wow. I feel so blessed. I am so blessed. Sending you all so much love. Thank you so much to the team over here for setting this up and making this happen for me and for everyone out there. So cheers to you guys.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you, Aaron.
Bye-bye.
So great to have you.
All right. Lots of love. Speak soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.